Hi, I'm Dr. Back. This is a dental chair, and I'm unmasked. This will not be possible from now on. Is it? I have spent my entire career trying to bring dentistry to a more human level. It will not through more filters that we'll be achieving that. And I do understand the concern. The virus is something very critical and serious. But I think that we owe it to ourselves to do better. At MDEX, we have pushed forward to take all the necessary cares outside of the operation chair. This is not an operation chair. It looks like a dentist, but it's not. It's no aerosol. There are no danger. We're scanning here, we're consulting here, and we're making a follow-up here. This is what I've been pushing forward for the last 2 years. Yesterday, it was a great idea. Today, it will be the new norm. Is it something possible to get out from a dental chair most of our operations? I was surprised by saying yes. Yes, we're still a surgeon, but maybe 80% of our time we don't need that chair to work. We don't need to put ourselves in that stressful environment, and most importantly, we don't need to put our patient through that. The new norm coming, either you will have to take extra precaution to limit the cross-contamination, or you can just stay away from that room while keep doing your job. It is through means technology, but also to the will to do different, to revise our own ways that we will be ready for what's coming. This is my initiative. We'll make sure that we keep our relevancy and that we keep our human touch. And yes, I promise you, for as long as I stay alive, dentistry will be more human than ever. The end of the confinement is just the beginning of a journey. I'm Dr. Back. Welcome to the office. So when it comes to relationship, have you grown tired, frustrated, or even giving up about the idea of finding the right person? Why is that? You all have the right to be happy, or we not? So why do we have such difficulty finding the right partner? And this is not coming from me, it's coming from Anil. So please don't blame me. But it is because you have baggage coming from your last relationship. And you bring that baggage forward. And mostly, this is Anil words. You are rushing into the next relationship. You're a woman between 35 and 50. You're frustrated. You have given up about finding the right man. Would you like to have the answer? My friend Anil Gupta had helped thousands of people to find the right partner, especially a woman. He has a special technique, the 4 ways deal breaker test. This is a 95% clarity to help you find the right partner, going beyond the emotions. And why would somebody like to go into a relationship without emotion? Because at the beginning of the relationship, you don't want your emotion to blind you. Bring the same baggage again and again on the table. So that's why you keep failing. Please don't hate me. We're here to fix things. Actually, Anil is here to fix things. And Anil, don't make me a liar. There are thousands of women here that are looking forward to find happiness, and now the happiness is in your hand. So the 4 ways deal breaker will help you find clarity at 95%. Thousands and thousands of people found the right partner, thanks to my friend Anil Gupta. This is a 3-day event. It will happen July 24th, 25th, and 26th. So let's break confinement and never be alone anymore. I'm Dr. Back. Welcome to the office. Find a partner you deserve. Thanks to my friend Anil Gupta. Hi everybody, welcome back to the office. Today we have the honor to go to New York to meet Dr. Pavel Krastev. Dr. Pavel, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the world and all of our dear friends. Dr. Bach, I'm deeply honored to have this opportunity to meet you today for the first time here. I've met you before during the beautiful interviews you have done. And I want to specifically thank Dr. Shah and the Global Summit Organization for putting us in touch and giving me this opportunity today. And I hope everyone out there is healthy and being safe as we recover from this crisis that's going on with this COVID.
So, Dr. Pavel, I've been through your profile on LinkedIn, and it said that you're a pioneer and an inventor above being a dentist. We'd like to enlighten us a little bit.
All right, so about, I'm going to say 6-7 years ago, I woke up one day, I guess a brick hit me on the head or something, and I started playing around with a magnet, just a simple little magnet. And then what happens to me is when I work, I notice, now let me mention one thing. I'm a general practitioner, and I do everything in my office. We have a very small practice that my wife manages. But sometimes when I do implant surgery, which is probably about 60% of what I do in my practice, I feel that certain things are missing. I feel that certain things can be done in a better way. And so when something annoys me professionally, that when I'm doing surgery or working, I start thinking about how I can improve this. How can I make it better? How can I treat the bone more delicately in comparison to certain other systems that are on the market? So this thought process wakes up ideas in me, and I don't know if you look behind my wall there. Those are all folders of all the patents and the applications, and I've been working with a lovely patent attorney. His name is Thomas O'Rourke, and he's a genius in my book, and he's guided me for all these years to how I've accomplished this. Some of the products, I did a lot of work on sinus elevation, on cresto lifts more specifically, which is currently not on the market. But we have other products that are on the market, which we won't discuss today because, again, this is not some kind of a sales pitch, or I'm not trying to sell instruments. I am a key opinion leader for Helmut Zeff, and I do work closely with them. And basically, they have exclusive rights to carry my products, manufacture them, distribute them, and sell them across the world. So, one thing led to another, and one patent led to another. The same, I guess you know what it is, we all have certain talents. Some guys are experts in the literature. Me, personally, I am not an expert in the literature. I just don't have time to read as much as I'd like to. Certain people write books. I mean, you, God bless you, 66, last I remember, 65. This is incredible stuff and incredible achievements. Others of us, for example, Dr. Keanu Shah has this incredible energy, which I certainly don't, to do this massive operation and running this organization with all the board regions, with peer-to-peer, with basically essentially the whole world partaking in this. This is not one godfather sitting at the top giving orders. This is our whole profession coming together and sharing willingly what we should all share across the world. For example, I mean, for many years in my life, I was sitting in my practice, and it was, do this procedure, go home, do this procedure, go home. Then you open your mind a little bit, and you start educating yourself, and you start interacting with colleagues. But, for all of us, it's difficult to connect across the globe because we live in different countries. So many of us are limited in how we gain knowledge. And many of us, unfortunately, we think, well, in our country, we do it the best. And in your country, you guys do it the best. But peer-to-peer, and this is something I really want to touch on, is not just dentists. Peer-to-peer is Dr. Prashant. Dr. Prashant did a beautiful interview that I watched probably 3 times. He basically spelled it out in such a good way that I don't want to repeat everything he said, as well as the interview with Dr. Shah that you had. But the point is this: bringing the globe together on this beautiful platform is never been done. Okay, everyone thought it was impossible. The regents, the advisors, which I'm proud to say I'm one of them. But that's not the point of it. It's not about me. It's about all the beautiful people that participate in this. So one thing I want to clarify that I believe many are confused about, when we say peer-to-peer and that we reached 2.2 million people, these are not just dentists, all right? Because in the globe, we have, I think, 3 million plus dentists altogether. So these are experts from medicine. These are hygienists. These are office managers. These are people like you and me, and it's an incredible effort that I am honestly just so proud and thankful for being a part of. So getting back to my patents, for years I worked and came home and worked some more. And now I think I'm done inventing, because, you know, it's an exhaustive process. You go back and forth with the United States Patent Office, and it's not easy, but it's a pleasure. The other thing that I'll mention professionally, by myself, I guess you're conducting the interview, but I like to talk a lot, so stop me at any time. So I graduated dental school from New York University in 1993. I was invited immediately to stay in comprehensive care and work basically as an instructor for 2 years with the fourth-year students, which was a pleasure for 2 years. At the same time, I started a practice with essentially nothing. So I was there for about 10 years. I'm originally from Bulgaria. I don't know if many people know that. I came to the United States at age 11. And I come from a line of family of doctors. My father was a dentist who basically did not pursue this in the United States. He had a family to support. I have uncles, orthopedic surgeons, aunts, anesthesiologists. My cousin Veronica is a dentist in Germany. My wife finished medical school. Her parents are medical doctors. Her brother is a critical care pulmonologist, and her aunt is an MD. So we kind of grew up in a family of doctors. So we, you know, our brains are in a way programmed to pursue this.
The first question I have for you: how many patents do you have?
You know, that's a damn good question, because I don't count. I believe 10 or 12. And
12 patents.
I can check exactly and get back to you on that, because there's other patents that are still pending. But they're all utility patents, which are much more difficult to obtain rather, and carry much more value. I believe we have one design patent that I think still has not been issued. I mean, you want to laugh. I actually have 2 patents on flip-flops. So at one point in my life, I invested a decent amount of money into developing flip-flops. I mean, yeah, I'm the dentist, you know, the shoemaker. You're looking at him, you know. So I'm a dentist who actually made shoes. So that company was actually, my product was sold by, I forget what company was it, by Bed Bath & Beyond, and then I basically gave up on that project because it was a waste of time. So
I have to say, you are very passionate. And you said that you were impressed by me writing 66 books. I am humble talking to you with 12 patents.
But you know something funny? I can't spell for my life. I mean, I since a kid, all my teachers told my mother, you know, where's this guy learning his English? I mean, he can't spell. I can't spell. We all have talents. But here's what, you know, my big belief, and usually when I lecture publicly, I start off with one thing. I say, our profession is about love and passion. And what I mean by that is that we all should love what we do and do it with a tremendous passion, because that's how our patients benefit. We're not salespeople. I certainly am not. I dedicate a tremendous amount of time interviewing all my patients. As I said, I'm the only dentist in my office. I'm not a DSO operation where there's 20 doctors that are changing, getting hired and fired every week, and patients have no clue what's going on in their mouth. I'm certainly not an advocate of selling dentistry to patients. Dentistry sells itself to properly educated patients. So my wife and I spend an exuberant amount of time discussing treatment plans, discussing options, and essentially guiding our patients in the right direction. And then the final choice as to how they proceed really is up to them. So that's the kind of practice I run, and that's probably why I'm still poor. But that's besides the point.
I'm pretty sure you're on many things, but poor is on one of them.
You'll be surprised.
Sir, this interview was supposed to be looking at dentistry and how people are reinventing themselves through this crisis.
Yeah.
You've already been through that several years ago. So I'd like to get to the main point. How do you overachieve as much and is still that passionate?
You know what it is? I'm a guy that basically comes from the heart. When I'm friends with someone, I'm an open book. I share with my dear friends things about me that are pretty, things about me that are not pretty. You know, I trust my friends. So it's almost like a calling I have. You know, I want to leave a little mark in dentistry with certain products that I hope will do well in our profession. Not because I will gain a few dollars, which, you know, I clearly want to state one thing. I do earn royalties from Helmut Zev only on my products that they carry. But anyway, it's not about Helmut Zev. I want to touch a little bit about, not about myself and my achievements, but rather about the COVID situation. You know, as you mentioned, we are in New York. We are in the western part of Long Island, and COVID, when it started, it devastated New York, and we were one of the hardest hit areas. And unfortunately, we followed and obeyed all the regulations. We shut down. We didn't work for, I believe, 3 months. And then we opened up back about 2 weeks ago. It's a new world. Working for all of us across the globe with these N95 masks is a nightmare. You can't breathe through them. They limit your oxygen by 20%. We are trying to follow all current protocols in sterilizing the rooms. We have UV lights running everywhere all night. You know, it's a challenge for all of us across the world. But unfortunately, we got hit very hard in New York. And luckily and thankfully, the curve has dropped significantly, and we're trying to restart and reinvent our lives. And it's not easy. We certainly, in my practice, are limiting to how many patients we see per day. In my practice, we generally see on the average about 6 patients a day, no more. So now we're doing probably 3 to 4 because we need to sanitize and clean everything the right way and to basically limit elective work. I'm still choosing myself to basically limit some of the elective things people want done today. I tell them, please, let's wait until this even calms down even further. So I'm still focusing on finishing cases that were started before the COVID crisis. And we're trying to do essentially what's best for our patients, right? And then their protection and our protection.
But going through again, I'm gonna just read some notes that I have while you were speaking. It's you are a source of positivity. The words I'm hearing, it's improvement, it's share, it's open mind, it's connect, it's peer-to-peer, it's trust, it's come from the heart. And rarely we had 3 months in our life to think about ourselves, think about our future, think about our profession. So I know that many of our peers are wondering what's next and how can they just get ahead of this crisis, reinventing themselves. I wasn't hoping as much, but just through your introduction, you have that art to reinvent yourself over and over again. What would be an advice you can give to all our peers listening to us? Say, I love my profession. I want to keep doing it, but I need more.
Wow, that's a pretty tough one. I need to think. I'm at my age at 52. I'm not so sharp and so fast. I think the most important thing is for ourselves to think logically, to have strong families behind us, and now with this peer-to-peer thing, I consider the entire globe our friends. I love all colors. I love all religions. I love all ethnicities. I just dislike people that don't hold the proper ethics and people that conduct themselves in unethical manner. Those I have no room for in my life. Others can judge for themselves. So the positivity is across the globe. We are going to struggle in different countries at different rates because the COVID has essentially, it attacks at different rates at different times. We have to grab each other by the hands, be brothers, be sisters, support one another, and we're gonna get through this, man. It's not easy for any of us, but we're gonna do it together. And there is no other way. So it's not me reinventing myself. We all need to reinvent ourselves. I spent the last 3 months educating myself. The last 3 months. I don't have enough time in the day to read all the webinars and watch all the seminars and all the good stuff going on. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful platform that again, the globe comes together and does it. You know, it's love and passion. You know, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, on a secondary note, I don't know if you know this, don't know this. From 2002 to 2004, I trained because I'm a general practitioner, as I said, but I trained at the New York University College of Dentistry in the 2/3-year program for implantology. Following my training, I was immediately invited to become a clinic associate, which basically means a guy on roller skates for 1 year. And then I was invited to remain as clinical assistant professor. And so I spent about 14 years teaching once weekly, full day, in the beautiful and prestigious center there for doctors to come, licensed dentists to come and train both surgically and academically in implantology. And about, I believe it's 2-3 years ago, I resigned from my position. We were a great team of friends that you made friends there for life. All right, Mikey Calderon, I can go on and on. Herbie Mendelson, so many names. Sometimes you click with people, and sometimes you just go to work. We had more fun than I could tell you. So I miss the boys and girls. We unfortunately lost Dr. Trevor Bavar, who was the pioneer of this whole program. He recently passed away, I believe a month or two ago. We miss Trevor very much, and he was a good man, and he had a great sense of humor. But one thing he always said, Pavel, what do you run on candle power in your office? I mean, how can you forget something like that?
So you mentioned something very interesting. It's for an overachiever, we talk about you need a strong family.
Yes.
And so everybody knows, at the beginning of this interview, I had the privilege to meet Dr. Pavel's wife. What do you mean by strong family? How does it help?
I'll tell you what I mean by strong family. My mother passed away in November. She had open heart surgery, and unfortunately, 2 weeks following the procedure, which was supposedly very successful, she passed away from an arrhythmia. My mother was my best friend. She was my role model. She was everything, and I don't want to get emotional. So she basically guides me now. She tells me what to do and what not to do. And sometimes I listen to her and sometimes I don't, because I have this thing with temporary amnesia sometimes. But a strong family means this. When Pavel is a bad boy, makes a mistake, his beautiful wife is sitting right in front of me here, and her lovely parents, they grab Pavel like a little child and they say, come on, son, we're going to fix this. When Pavel has questions and needs a shoulder to cry on, Pavel has a tremendous amount of support behind him, okay? Do we butt heads at home? Heck yeah. I mean, it's not easy. Because let me tell you something, my wife, she's a real lady, but she's got a lot in here, okay? She's got a lot in there, and sometimes I have to listen to her more often. The other thing of a great family,
recorded, right? This is recorded. You will have to live by those words after.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The other very important aspect is children, and for those of us who have chosen to have kids, it's wonderful. For those who have not chosen to have or cannot, it's up to them. I don't really have anything to say other than I have two beautiful daughters, and when I look at their faces every day, and my big one likes to come into my room every 2 minutes and tell me how much she misses me. You know what? That's what life is about, all right? So when Pavel makes mistakes, I have a wall behind me of supporters that are always there for me. So that's why family is very important to me.
That's a lot of wisdom, sir. That's a lot.
Thank you.
Especially coming from a family of doctors, where I can just imagine the pressure you have to become one yourself.
It's funny, and I'm so happy because you asked this question, because yesterday I was thinking about that. I wanted to bring this up. So when I was a little kid, and I mean, I don't know, I came to the USA at age 11. So from age 11 to about 17, until the hormone hits you, when you start like going from, playing with your phone to chasing girls. Until then, I used to fly model airplanes. So every weekend Pavel was flying model airplanes, the remote control ones, and I was hanging out with the boys in a particular park, and we had a ball. So I learned English that way. So see, now what happens, my amnesia kicks in, and then I lose my train of thought. So I go to, go get through high school, and in those days, high school, there were a lot of bullies going on. There were a lot of gang fights. Things were difficult in those days. However, so I go to St. John's University, and they give me a piece of paper, and they say, "What do you want to major in?" So I always liked working with my hands, building things. So I write, heck, what do I know in my life? Medicine. So I'm pre-med. All right. So I start pre-med. I flunked my first chemistry test in general chem because, some professors teach because they love teaching and they want to teach. Other professors teach because of their egos and want to flunk the whole class and then curve up the grades in those days. That's what they used to do. So after I flunked my first chemistry test in general chem, I said, I studied so hard for this. How am I going to become anything? So then, fortunately, through organic chem, we had Dr. Kupchak, who was, the best teacher in the world, who took you and basically built in the pyramid. And if you were a good boy and did your work, you understood organic chemistry. So in organic chemistry, me and Dr. Himanshu Shah became the two top students out of, I believe, at that time, 400 people. And we obviously became best friends because it was me and him getting the perfect scores. Now, I don't know if we have time for me to mention this, but it's a little bit of a funny story. You know what? I'll leave the story.
I love fun. Go ahead.
You love fun? Okay.
I love fun.
So, Dr. Kupchak was one of my favorite professors for organic chemistry, but Dr. Kupchak also had his colleague, Dr. Greco, who wasn't well liked, and he was a little bit of a ball breaker, let's say, if it's possible. Excuse the language, folks. So we're taking our final exam, and we're sitting in an auditorium of probably, again, 300-400 people. And in those days, we didn't have rugs and carpets. It was tiles. And I don't know if you remember those organic chemistry kits with 50 balls inside them, and we used to build models with, right? So everybody's got them sitting on the table, and it's pitch quiet in the classroom, all right? And we're taking, this is the final exam of organic chemistry. So Pavel Krastev, my second name is Murphy. If it can happen to anybody, it's gonna happen to me, all right? So I accidentally knocked the damn balls on the freaking floor, and then the whole room turns around and looks at Pavel, So guess what I did? I looked around too, and I started looking. So Dr. Greco comes to me, the other professor, and he says, Pavel, you just dropped your balls. I said, Dr. Greco, wait till the exam scores come out. So needless to say, me and Himanshu, once again, were the only two, I believe, that aced it down to the T. 0 wrong questions. And, it was a wonderful experience. So, yeah, I'm this kind of guy. When I'm passionate about something that I enjoy, and I love dentistry, and I love our patients, and I love our colleagues. But that's the way I operate. That's how my brain operates.
You know what I see here? I spent also the last 3 months going through interviews and seminars and conducting a lot of them myself. And I'm coming from more the entertainment world. And looking at you, you've done so much. You've gathered so much wisdom. But we need people like you to start teaching, because most of the seminars we have out there, it's very scientific. It's very useful, but often it's dry and emotionless. We need that kind of passion into it. So now a continuous education will become a party. Yeah. And this is what we should be doing, sharing fun time together.
Absolutely.
And elevating each other.
Absolutely agree with you, my friend. We all, how I look at it. While I was teaching at NYU, I had the opportunity to observe many different surgeons, and basically at NYU in the course, all the faculty members were general practitioners. So I just want to clarify, they were not oral surgeons, although we got one guy on board later in the program. But it's about learning each other's styles of work. The way I do a Krastev lift may be very different than how you do a Krastev lift. At the end, we both get a great result. But when you start working with peers and educating and sharing. Not that I'm right or you're wrong, but this way we learn different techniques. We learn different styles. You know, I got to tell you something. There's a million things out there in dentistry that I need to learn myself. Example, connective tissue grafting. I mean, I've been waiting for years to take a few courses in connective tissue grafting. Why? Because I need to improve there. I know I don't even do connective tissue grafting, and I'm ashamed to admit that, but I'll tell you the truth. So there's only so many days in the week, and there's so many hours. But together, yes, I completely agree with you and our peers out there watching. You know, we got to focus on having fun. Let's not break each other's chops. You know, and I'll tell you, this brings me to another very important point that I think I want to share with the world. I'm a little bit of an old timer when it comes to the way I was trained. And I hate hearing dentists trashing each other and saying, to patients, this guy down the block is no good, come to me. The other guy is terrible, You know what? Patients make their own rational decisions. However, when I see a patient, and believe me, I see plenty. I mean, we have certain big DSO operations around here that, they tell every patient you need a 1-4. Every patient. I mean, I have people that come to my office with, 17 good teeth, and they told them they wanted the $25,000 a 1-4. And then I look in their mouths and I have a discussion and I say, wait a minute, we can restore you in 20 different ways and keep all your teeth. What moron would want to, do all 1-4 on you? So this agitates me to the point of disgust that there's colleagues who practice this way. Every human being in my chair, every patient is like my mother. It's like you sitting in my chair. This is the way I operate. This is something that I'm extremely adamant about educating our colleagues about. We can't look at patients as dollar signs and productions. We have to do what's best for them. We have to educate our patients. We need to let our patients really make the ultimate decision at the end with our guidance, how we get there. And like I said, I have a very low volume practice, but this is what we fight for. And this is something that I would love to share with the world further.
Actually, Dr. Pavel, this was supposed to be your interview, but it's too tempting. I have to share with you a hope. You're talking about treating your patient as your family, as your mom. I will give you a hope. It's I hate to be a dentist because I became a dentist because of my parents. And I had to have the type D in front of my name just to prove to them that I was worth something. Yeah. That being said, after that, I was thirsty of human connection.
Yep.
So I treat every single one of them as a potential friend because I was looking to escape. And here's a true story though. If you go through what I'm doing, I'm trying to reinvent dentistry as we speak right now. So if there's a Uber company in the dental field, I am it. And we are still building up. Banks invest money at the seed of that. And when it came to the fact that, banks in Canada, they don't take much risk. They're going to just invest in expansion, but not in something new. The person who vouched for me to say that trust in this project, it will go forward. It was a high banking officer who started as a patient. Today we're bros, but it was a patient to start with. So you never know how treating people well, and just like ecos and peers will get you. Today, I am living a Cinderella story for a businessman, thanks to the fact that I connected with my patients.
Yeah, it's such if I may comment, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but my wife and I have this conversation constantly, and here's why. When all my patients come in, new, old, young, doesn't matter. I have a tendency to talk too much, and I have a tendency to become friends with them. So I'm completely understanding your point. And my wife, on the other hand, says, Pavel, please try to be a little more professional. Not meaning that I'm not professional, but she says, try not to become friends with everybody. I say, but honey, if you want me not to try to be myself, you got to take my heart, carve a quarter of it out, and then, put some masking tape on my mouth because I can't help myself. The other thing that I'm a big believer on, my office, let me explain a little bit. My office is, okay, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law have a very large internal medicine practice. And when Karina and I got married, Right before that, I was partners with two gentlemen, and we had a state-of-the-art facility that was one of the finest offices I've ever been a part of. That didn't work out for me for financial reasons, etc. So right when Karina and I got married, her parents invited me to move my practice into their facility. And my parents, my in-laws are from Polish background, and they're lovely people. They have a pretty large staff, and when we go to work, we have fun. So I'm a strong believer that when you go to work, you gotta treat your coworkers, your employees like friends, as opposed to putting stress on them all day and making people, lose their minds. So we like to work peacefully, in a friendly manner, and have fun doing it. Now, unfortunately, with these new protocols that we follow, which are very difficult, I had a huge problem with, I put the shield on, my loops, and then my lenses were fogging up. All right. Breathing through that N95 mask for all of us is a nightmare. Okay. So, but what can we do? Now my wife, she always buys little knickknacks for the office that I probably would never think of. But now she got these shields that are absolutely fantastic. There's no fogging. That issue got resolved actually, I believe, 2 days ago, first time. But so that's what I believe in. That's how I like to run my life. I like to wake up in the morning and feel good, and I like to go to sleep at night and feel good and content that I did the right thing today.
Sir, I'll be repeating myself because I finish all the interviews with a message of hope, but you're nothing but hope and passion. But if you will have hope for our profession, for our peers to go through this crisis and to find something good out of it, what would that be?
That's a damn good question. My dream is to see our colleagues from across the globe become closer, to become, we can throw little rocks at each other because sometimes we disagree. That's okay. But we got to unite, and here's why. If Pavel Krastev or you by yourself, we want to change anything in this world in dentistry, nobody listens because we're one person. But when we have a unit of dentistry globally connected, we become an army. We become an army of hope that we can lead the industry and operate the industry in an ethical manner that's consistent with what's in the best interest of the world. So I dream of a day that all of our colleagues can essentially even bond more and more and further. All right. COVID, unfortunately, as sad as it is, it united us further in dentistry. Because I tell you, I never thought this was possible. What's going on? And I got to say again, I thank Dr. Kiana Shah. I thank the entire board, Dr. Kavan, Dr. Carlos. These are some of the best people and the finest human beings on the planet Earth. The webinars, that we did, it brings us together, man. And sometimes, the funny thing, sometimes when I share those webinars at some, I say, groups, they send me notes, you're advertising. What am I advertising? I'm sharing knowledge, okay? Am I selling you anything? No. Do I? I couldn't care less what you buy. I'm sharing what our peers have created. And groups tell me, well, we don't believe in false advertising, you spam. Okay, you know what? You don't want Pavel Krastev in your group? Throw me out. I have zero problem with that. But I will continue sharing these beautiful efforts that are going on, all right? And I'm going to keep doing what I need to do. You know why? Because this is what I love doing, and I love doing it with the people involved and with all of our peers that I love. How's that?
I will take this opportunity to thank Dr. Kiana Shah myself to introduce me to a real brother. We just met. It's been about an hour, but I love your energy. And yeah, let's do something with this. That was the end of the interview, but now I have to resist because we're over time anyway, so who cares? We came together so you can collaborate on a book that I'm writing with Dr. Shah. It's called The Power of DR. And not doctor, DR is mean the title of nobility that our family want us to have. So you are all about hope, you're all about passion and positivity. And you've been a doctor all your life. you are been raised in a family of doctor. So if we're just gonna dig into it, and I believe that's gonna be your chapter. How can you take, or how can you justify the power you have holding that function and holding that title to always reinvent yourself and to move forward?
You know, it's an internal energy that, for the most part, I'm blessed to say, my wife gives me. You know, because my wife, and let me tell you, I'm not an easy guy. I have many faults, and I've made some seriously delinquent mistakes in my life, like we all have. We're humans. But if I didn't have my wife behind me, you know, as I say, you know, I'm the head in the family, but she's the neck. You know, let me end it on that. But to respond to your question, if I'm given the opportunity to help in any way, shape, or form with your project and the book, I will be so honored to do so that I have no words.
Actually, don't let me down now.
Oh.
Look, I'm hooked. Everybody, this was Dr. Pavel Krastev. It was an introduction, and yeah, I had a list of questions. I could go through it, and this is way funner. Dr. Pavel, let's meet again. I can't wait to read your chapter about the power of DR. And let's say this out loud. You know, people know that I can be very crazy when I connect with people. You were talking about writing a book about your life. We're talking about looking to maybe for us to collaborate. I have one for you, and we can either collaborate or I can help you go through with this. And believe me, if you put the time necessary, it's like about 2 hours a day, you have your book within 30 days. Somebody like you, maybe 15 days. But
I'm slow. Give me a month or two, huh?
If you listen to this interview, you have half your book written already. The title will be Overachievers. I
like that.
On this subject.
Let me tell Honey to write it. Honey, write that down. Overachievers.
That will be
the
book. We can either co-author it or I can guide you through it. And I also have many peers that would love to join in to that book.
Yes, that's exactly my next question.
With your energy, let's make sure that we can finish The Power of PR as soon as possible.
Yes.
You know, I still have 7 books to write before the end of August.
Good luck.
I need energy. I need people like you. So let's forget the VR for now. Pavel, it was a real pleasure. And you started with the fact that you called me a brother. I didn't answer to that because I didn't know what to answer. Today, I am honored by your welcoming warmth. And yes, I want to be your brother.
Well, I thank you, Dr. Bach. It was a pleasure to meet you. And you know what? I want to thank our audience and our peers and our colleagues across the world. And again, special thanks. I mean, Dr. Keanu, sure, I could talk about him all day, but you know, this guy is a guy that you cannot not fall in love with, you know? So I look forward to all of us meeting one day and having a couple of beers, but you're going to be buying, okay?
No problem.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bach, presenter of MDEX & Co. This is a new social and economic pack for the dental industry. My industry faces many challenges. In this time of crisis, the challenges has risen all at once, and now we can't ignore them anymore. Everything is too clear, everything is painful, and they all need to be addressed right away. The COVID crisis has put everything on pause. As dentists, we were the first one who has to respond to that pause. The emergency is barely to the minimum, it's about 5%, even less of our care. So many have been shut down for more or less 3 or 4 weeks now. This has brought to my attention all the challenges that my profession faces. I try to comfort my team, I try to fight for them, to give them some resources. Then I try to fight for my peers, working with the associations and with the organization in place. Well, we understood that we were left aside. And on top of it, we don't have the sympathy of the population. In this unique time of crisis, we had an article coming out explaining our position and explaining also that we have been left with nothing. and the population raise their voice against us. This is why when I'm talking to my colleagues and myself, we have personal testimonial of patients say, how are you guys doing? You need help. On a day-to-day basis, I think that we are appreciated by the people that we treat. But in a broader sense, I don't think that the population likes dentists that much. And this is a huge PR problem. What we see, the governments, we lost our voice and our leverage. To be honest, the dental industry has been an independent word until lately, especially in Canada. It's hard for our small team to rise up to make a difference. At this stage, we need something wider, something bolder to raise up. We have to listen to the population. Well, they're saying that we've been too expensive for too long. What they don't get, it's we have many a hospital to run. It's all coming back to the fact that we have too much infrastructure on the ground. And by the time that this crisis will unpause, all this infrastructure will have to be upgraded all at once to now face a new standard post-COVID. Who's going to pay for it? So when you think of it, dental fees will be even more expensive. That doesn't make sense. Nobody will be happy about it. So that's coming back to the fact that we have to learn to come as an industry and start sharing resources. Not just get More-Deb, have our own resource, and operate them about a quarter of the time. So this crisis brought to my attention that what we're doing here is not just commerce. It's not just try to gain market share. It's a way to reform an industry in crisis and that faces more than one challenge. We need leadership, we need vision, and also we need the will to make a difference.
I'm living right here and now, and I don't wanna miss out. Is this what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening. I feel the freedom inside. Come on, let's go for a ride. I finally opened my eyes and I can see it so clearly. So clearly. Life is but a dream. And isn't it amazing? Can be amazing. Whoa. I feel my heartbeat racing. I'll fly soaring ever higher. I can light my inner fire, and then we'll see what happens now. What happens now? And then we'll see what happens. What happens now? Sometimes we have what it takes, sometimes we make our mistakes, and now the journey awaits. So don't you wanna come with me? Come with me. We'll make our way to the top. We'll never break, never stop. And when we get to the spot, we'll know we made it there together. We'll remember forever that life is but a dream. And isn't it amazing? Oh, life can be amazing. Oh, I feel my heartbeat racing. I'll fly soaring ever higher. I can light my inner fire, and then we'll see what happens now. What happens It's amazing, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. Whoa, it's amazing, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. It's amazing, it's amazing. Watch what happens now.